Jide, welcome to TechTrends.
Thank you.
So would you say technology is helping us to become more interested in education today?
The answer is capital yes. If you take a look at some of the areas in education that technology is touching at the moment across the value chain, take for instance teaching, students, school themselves, curriculum, policymakers, you agree with me that technology is really doing a whole lot. Take for it, I'll give you an instance. We have, you know, back in those days, if you're a parent, you're looking for a school for your kid, you know, it takes ages because they had to, you know, rely on a very shallow neighbor referrals, very unreliable, sometimes recommendations from their neighbors. But as you speak, you know, at the corner of your room, wherever you are in the office, you can actually log onto your system and find a suitable school for your kid. In those days, it was difficult for teachers to access online, you know, resources where they could, you know, that they could use to impart their students. But these days, becoming, you know, a lot easier for a teacher, while even teaching, to quickly access resources online to be able to impart their students. So technology is actually affecting the imparting the education sector. When you take a look at, you know, the whole value chain and you break it down to say teaching, schools, curriculum, parents, policymakers, technology is actually affecting the whole of this value chain, and it's very interesting.
Since the number of education institutions we have today cannot take in the number of students who want to apply to them or who want to go into them, what should we be doing?
Yes, I think we should concentrate more on personalized learning. The thing is, we're in 21st century, and as such, you don't have to really go to a classroom to be able to access information that can be of, you know, of help to you as a student. So you can actually be at home and learn a whole lot of things, and a lot of people are actually leveraging on that as we speak. We have guys who have learned how to code without even attending a class, you know, using YouTube. We have guys who have learned a whole lot of things without you know, going to the forward, you know, of schools or attending any classroom. So we can, if we can concentrate on using technology to drive learning, to personalize learning, I think technology will really absorb a lot of people that are out of school today.
Personalized learning has its challenges. How do we deal with that?
The challenge has always been that when you take a look at students who are out of, kids who are out of school, they're in the rural areas. They are not in the cities. A lot of kids in the cities are in schools, but the kids in the rural areas are not in school. But how do we now get technology across to these kids? If you get technology across to them, would their parents be able to afford this technology? So if you're able to take these problems out, so it will be a lot easier for a lot of families in the rural areas to access technology, to access personalized learning, and help themselves.
Jide, how would you really gauge our readiness when it comes to using technology in education? Because it requires a lot of investments.
It's becoming better, you know, unlike in those days where acceptability was a huge challenge. Acceptability from, you know, looking at all the elements, acceptability from school owners themselves, from policymakers, parents. Take for instance, sometimes ago, it was a challenge for a parent to trust an online platform, you know, where they could access good schools for their kids. It was a problem for schools to actually list on those platforms. It was also a challenge for a lot of parents to access verified private tutor, you know, back in those days, because they never trusted that they could get someone who could impart their kids so positively from online, you know. But now the narrative is changing. You know, parents are becoming interested in using technology to solve their educational challenges. We are not there yet, definitely, but I'm so sure that we will get there. It's a journey. We'll get to a purposeful destination very soon.
A lot of times we seem to focus on the students. How about the teachers? Are they skilled enough? Are we training them enough?
I always told people, again, that technology will never replace teachers. Yes, personalized learning, online resources. Robots will never replace teachers because, yes, a robot can do a lot of things, but robots cannot give the human feelings, that emotional connections that teachers have with their kids. There's no robot, there's no artificial intelligence in this world that can replace that. You know, but sadly, we are not really helping our teachers in Nigeria. When I mean helping in terms of providing them with adequate training. You know, we have schools that are, a lot of schools that are making money, but how much are they really, you know, spending when it comes to imparting their teachers, training their teachers so that they can become qualified? Because when we talk about CPD, you know, there's no limit to how much a teacher can actually learn, because you cannot give what you do not have. Even the onus is also on you as a teacher to also develop yourself. We don't have to always at all times depend on the schools that we teach, where we teach, or depends on government to help us out. So you need to also help yourselves. The little that you are earning from the school you're teaching, how much are you putting back into into your knowledge to make sure that you have enough to give out to the kids? Another challenge then also is the fact that we do not have enough passionate teachers. We just have teachers who are teaching because they do not have other jobs that they can do, that they have interest in. We just have them in schools, and it's unfortunate. This is rather unfortunate, because there's no way you can actually impart into your students if you are not passionate about what you are doing. It cuts across disciplines. If you are doing what you don't love to do, there will actually be a gap in terms of fulfillment. It's high time our school started recruiting teachers who are passionate about teaching profession. It's high time government started recruiting teachers who are qualified and at the same time passionate about teaching profession. I think if we're able to do this, then teaching and learning will become a lot more easier.
Isn't social media a major challenge for both the students and the teachers?
There have always been distractions, right from time. Social media is just one of them of recently. Right from time, you only had kids playing table tennis, kids playing rolling tires, kids playing what's it called, games and all of that,
But it is very addictive.
Well, it was addictive in those days, We had kids. For me as a person growing up, I was addicted to rolling tires. So I was addicted to playing games. I was addicted to a whole lot of things. But social media just came, and people think that our kids are getting addicted. So parental control is really key. That's what I'm saying. Really, there always been a distraction, whether social media or not. But parents must always be there to guide their kids. They must always be there to alert their kids about the dangers that are online, and for their kids to be wary of this danger. So for me, social media is not a distraction. It's just for you as a kid, or as a youth, or as whoever you are as a user, to be able to control and give yourself that personal discipline, or your parents guiding you on the use of social media. Yeah.
Tell us about your startup and the problem you're solving.
You will agree with me that placing a child in a suitable school is no longer an easy task. Why am I saying this? A lot of parents are becoming a lot busier, so they don't have the luxury of time to be jumping from one school to another, trying to find the right one for their kids. And a lot of our private schools are not also accessible. So we started Edu School in 2015 as a beta, and we launched officially in 2016 to be able to make our private schools more accessible, while at the same time help parents to make informed school choices for their kids.
Having done this for a few years, what are some of the challenges you've had?
As usual, that's what a lot of startups will tell you. Funding is number one challenge. But sometimes I don't look at
It's really fun. It's funny really.
Yeah, funding is not number one challenge. But when you take a look at other challenges, they are tied to funding. Let me give you an instance. You want to get a good team, talents that can work on your project. The quality of what you churn out is dependent on the quality of team that you have. So how do you attract this talent? A lot of people have actually come up with solutions such as giving shares and giving this and that and all of that. Yes, fantastic idea. But sometimes it goes beyond this. So you need funding to be able to attract the right talent to yourself. You need funding to be able to reach out to market effectively rather. So you need funding to be able to scale. So you need funding for a whole lot of things. So those other things that are challenges are highly tied to funding. But by and large, I think the key thing is for you as an entrepreneur, as a problem solver, to be passionate about what you're doing. So no matter the challenges that you're facing, they're just like hurdles that you cross, one after the other. At the point, eventually it's going to pay off. The right funding will come, definitely. But if you're not committed at the beginning, try to solve the problem really, no fund will come from anywhere. We need to formulate the right policies. So it's not just also enough to formulate the right policies. We also need to implement the right policies. We need to give players, in the tech space, enabling environment for them to be able to thrive. We also need to encourage these people, these players within the sector, within the space. India was nowhere in technology scene 20 years ago. But they got their government committed. They got a lot of they got an organized private sector committed into the vision. And as we speak today, many of us go to India to outsource our stores, which is not supposed to be. So government needs to play its role. Organized sector needs to play its role. Individuals that are playing in the space, in this education space, also need to play their roles so that we can uplift the sector.
Thank you for being with us today.
Always a pleasure, Selfie.
Quite a number of people may not have imagined that we'll get to a point where finding schools and doing a whole lot of things will become much easier. But thanks to technology, that's our reality. However, startups and others building with technology must ensure that the quality and user experience of their solution remain top-notch. Thank you for watching the show. Do follow us on social media. And don't forget, you can watch these and previous editions of the show on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog, cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.